it's time to welcome our guest, Tara Woods Turner, to Paint Yourself into the Picture. Tara, welcome. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Reba. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. So you have such an interesting background, and actually, before you, when you first came into the green room for the show, you mentioned, "I'm just going to run and make myself a cup of tea."
Yeah.
So right there, you made me so happy because I decided that I want to treat these sessions like I'm having tea with a friend. So I'm going to pour myself some, and first I'm going to offer you because I've got to mind my manners with you.
Oh, absolutely.
So here you go, and here's a little in my cup.
Oh, it sounds wonderful, actually. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for being my guest on the show. It really is an honor and a privilege. So you've written a lot of books, some interesting books. You've founded some. Tell me a little bit about yourself and what brought you to the show today.
As you mentioned, I'm an etiquette coach and also an author and a publisher. And everything is sort of tied together because my field of expertise is in etiquette. Mm-hmm. Basically just, a fancy way of saying how we choose to treat one another in social situations. Mm. And it's quite fascinating how one facet of just common respect can piggyback into so many other areas of our lives. Mm. And, a rising tide lifts all boats. And I find that approach has made branching out into other areas like writing and publishing just quite seamless. So I developed a line of etiquette curricula for schools, churches, and nonprofit organizations.
Wow.
Right. And it's been such a wonderful experience. I sort of fell into it. But it really does seem like an organic extension of what I do every day. And I really love it. I'm fortunate to be able to do this.
That's wonderful. And a couple of things come to mind is, one, I love that, you're talking about common decency through etiquette. And I always think it's such a blessing to have this vehicle through which you can bring so much to people. I used to teach ballroom dance.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah, and that has the same qualities. It's not just about dancing or rhythm or music, though it contains that. But so much of it also is how we treat each other, how we ask each other onto the dance floor, how we escort each other off the dance floor. And those are not just, empty forms. Those are ways that we convey our caring for one another.
Absolutely.
And make each other feel safe. So I really understand how through etiquette, you're teaching a lot more than people might think when you say the word etiquette, where, usually people think, where do you put the knives and the spoons and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
But it goes so much further than that.
So much further. And I often find myself addressing lots of misconceptions about what etiquette is and does it have a place in modern society? And a resounding yes. And one of my favorite quotes is actually by Emily Post. Mm-hmm. And she said, we could care less what fork you use. And a lot of people are surprised, like, well, surely that's what it's all about. Well, it's not. It's just, it's sort of an interlinked, it's a chain. And if etiquette or good manners, if it doesn't protect the least among us, then it's no good. Etiquette is for, well, obviously it's for, it establishes a certain sense of decorum. It establishes certain social protocols, but it's designed to make people comfortable, to put people in the best light so they can shine. And you're getting it right when you have that feeling of satisfaction with the results, not necessarily the process of putting others at ease.
That's a fantastic description of it, and it really resonates with me because I've come to the conclusion, some of the most powerful ideas are the simplest ones. Mm-hmm. And I've come to the conclusion that kindness is, like, just that word alone, kindness is the big aha. It is the spiritual path. That's all it is, because there's two types of people. I think there's the people who want to dominate others. So let me put it another way, that if there's ever a situation with a stronger person and a weaker person, or someone who can help and someone who needs help, there's a choice for the stronger person to either dominate and suppress that weaker person, or to be kind and uplift that person.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Oh I'm so glad you said that's very validating that you put it that way. Again, because the way we treat one another, it's actually geared towards the protection of the weakest among us.
Yeah.
For example, parents. Why do parents do the things they do? Why do they work so hard? Why do they? It's to protect and raise their children. And it's the same for our it's supposed to be the same for our interpersonal or our social relationships.
Yes.
For example, our best table manners are not necessarily for others at the table who know how to use them. It's for the person at the table who may not know the best way to dine with others.
Wow.
When you can help and sort of buffer those rough spots, in our lives and in our relationships, that really is good manners in a nutshell. And like you said, it's just being kind. It's just being kind.
It's fantastic. It's beautiful. And I really can see how you can do a lot of good for children through it, so that when they're thinking about etiquette, they're not thinking about their own fear of being ostracized or laughed at. They're thinking about, how do I help the next person become included, become part of this table, like we're eating at a table, and how do I help them feel part of, instead of worrying about how do I feel worried about how I'm showing up.
Exactly. And when you understand the true essence of it, there's no limit. There's no limit, because it applies to literally everything and everyone. And I've actually found it difficult to kind of pull back and decide where I want to focus, because I can think of no areas, in society that could not use a little more kindness and a little more grace. But I'm especially dedicated to young people, to youth.
Yeah.
They've got a lot on their plates.
That is awesome. And I think there's such a need, not just for etiquette, but there's just such a need for people to turn their attention and their focus on young people and to include them. I feel that very strongly, and I really applaud you for that. So we have just, these sessions are pretty short, and I really could enjoy chatting with you. We were having a wonderful conversation before the tape started rolling. Fashion term. What tape? Rolling? What does that mean? But, I'm here to help you if I can. And I want to know, is there any issue or challenge or questions that you might have that maybe I could help you with?
Yes, thank you. I do have a few things that seem to be impediments. I can't quite get past them. I feel like no matter what I achieve or what I accomplish, obviously, you want to keep improving and go to the next level. But in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm never doing enough. I'm never I'm not working hard enough. And I think a lot of it, I really think I'm overcompensating because of my physical disabilities. As you know, I'm legally blind, and it's something that happened to me rather late in my adult life, and it's taken a lot of adjustment. And when I feel like, okay, I've got this, I can do this, I can work with this, it's a part of the rest of my life. Then there are days where I just feel really insecure, and what's the word? I feel less than, like, well, how can I be everything I'm supposed to be if this happened and it seems to be holding me back? And I really think, I'm pretty sure almost all of it is, psychological, because there are people with disabilities who are doing amazing things. And so I don't know. Sometimes I can't quite seem to get past that.
Right. I understand. It's possible in theory, and you get it. And just how do you make it work for you?
Yes.
And I totally understand that, because I think that's where like a lot of us are, where we're like, no, I get it that we're, you know, we have to accept ourselves. And I get, like, you get it all like on paper.
Mm-hmm.
But getting it in your gut is a whole different thing. You know, I think I just stuck something on my wall this morning, and I think I put it there for you. So I'm going to read it. So it's from the New York Times Modern Love section, and I'm really sorry, but I don't have the person who wrote it. I apologize, but I'll put it on our credits because I need to give credit.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll just paraphrase so I don't run into any copyright issues. This person, she learned about kintsugi, which is a Japanese art of using powdered precious metals to repair broken pottery. Mm. It's based on the belief that breakage is part of an object's life, and that when mended with gold, platinum, or in any case, the tender love of a beloved, tender love, let's just say, that was more to do with her essay, unsightly cracks are transformed into something uniquely sublime.
Wow. Oh God, here we go. Okay. That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
It is. Sorry, I'm gonna need a lot more tea. Sorry.
There's some tea. Here we go. That's for you, my dear.
Thank you. Chamomile.
So there it is.
It seems easy, and it seems doable until I don't know, until I'm in the when I'm in the moment, like when I'm speaking or writing or doing an interview, I have the sense that, okay, yes, this is all coming together, like all the shards of the broken pottery are finally being sort of fused together, and it feels really good and really empowering. But then in those quiet moments when I know I need to be working on my book tour or setting up book signings, then I kind of retreat back into myself, like, well, because that's more of an in-person, face-to-face event. Right. And I'm always torn between, okay, it'll be great, you know, this person has shown an interest in my book, but when I show up and I need to be, you know, led to the signing table, then they're going to say, oh, okay, you know, what's wrong with her? She's blind, or, oh my God, I didn't know she was blind. And then I feel like it's no longer about what I have to offer. Then it just becomes about, you know, my disability. And I think that's what I struggle with, is I don't want it to define who I am. I mean, I've spent my whole life becoming, you know, who I am at this moment. And it seems really unfair that a recent disability could completely hijack the picture, completely hijack who I am. Right. So I think sometimes I miss opportunities that I should be taking advantage of, because I don't want to be substituted for my blindness. I just want to be me, and I'm not sure how to be me anymore.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, you know, yeah, for sure. I mean, just the fact that it's recent and you're dealing with it so gracefully. I mean, really, kudos to you.
Thank you.
You know, you're doing. I know, of course, you see that you've got further to go, and we all do, but you have to stop and smell the roses too, in terms of loving what you've accomplished so far. You know, you really present yourself so incredibly beautifully. You know, I don't want to just get into flattering you, though I could.
No, go ahead. We have to.
Coming. Well, you are. Yes, you're a beautiful person, and you promise so much, and you have so much to offer. And you know, when we're chatting here, I actually forgot that you wrote in your when you applied to be on the show, I forgot that you wrote that you're legally blind.
Oh,
I didn't
that's
have,
fun.
it's really, yeah. I mean, that just is, FYI. But that doesn't take away from the struggle that you have, which you'll keep having, because, we have different parts of us. So you've got this very bright, bold, confident part, and that part is really fulfilled when you're out there, like doing it in front of people, talking, like that just lights you up.
Mm-hmm.
So that part is there, no doubt. And that part is the part of you that was excited as a little girl. When you were a little girl and you were like, it's going to be great. Life is going to be fantastic. And these wonderful things are going to happen. That's you. And then there's other parts of you and me. You're not alone in this, not by any means. And it's you and me, and it's all our viewers, I want to add. So, thank you for opening this up, because you're not just opening it up for yourself, you're opening it up on behalf of the viewers who have the same feelings. They might not be legally blind.
Right.
They have their handicap. Yeah.
That's interesting.
To watch the rest of this episode, click on the link below the video now if you're on YouTube. And if you're on Facebook, click on the Watch the Full Episode button when the video is done.